seller, a house flipper, a businesswoman, a go-getter, a big investor, a gold builder that could teach you to get richer like millions, baby. You really about to fill your savings. You about to have multiple streams to pass your children, baby. Let me teach you to get your credit on track in the long run. You'll make it all back at Catalyst and watch it all psychology black home firm, but we ain't all black.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Constance Carter. It's your Grow Your Money podcast. You know, I'm trying out some things today. You guys come on in. I'm trying out something today. I'm just trying like different time slots just to kind of get some engagement. I typically come on every Monday at 11 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Pacific, right? And so you guys are pretty much used to me. For the people who, listen to me often, you guys are used to me coming on at a certain time. Well, I'm just trying to, do some different things to see, if you guys like it, better in the morning or in the evening. So I just wanted to, I'm doing something different. But anyway, I do have a lot to talk about, and then I have to get out of here. So you guys come on in, tell your friends that Constance Carter is on live right now. This is the Grow Your Money podcast, where we talk about how to grow your money and not blow your money. Because if you blow your money, it ain't a damn thing funny. And I like to talk about a lot of things. I like to talk about mainly things that really affect us, specifically Black people, specifically African-American people, and our bottom line, our money. How do we grow our money in times such as these? And I always say that right now is the best time, I think, in American history for Black people. I think today, right now, is the best time in American history for Black people. Why? I think that this was designated as a time such as this. We have seen what's happened historically, and we've just been kind of wondering, it's been a long time coming, right? We've been waiting on a change to come, and status quo is not giving us that change. Doing things, the same thing over and over again, expecting different results is not a change. Having a Democrat in office for 8 years and a Republican in office for 8 years, nothing's changed. Nothing has happened. And so we needed something to shake up the core of the system of the United States in order for us to get out of the rut that we were in. Otherwise, what they said in 2017 about Black median wealth being a zero in the year 2053 was definitely destined to happen. It's not going to happen. Okay. So this is the best time for us to be alive. Now I'm going to ask you guys something real quick. I need to see, because my screen tends to pause up. I got to toggle through my screen because I need to do something. I want to show you guys some statistics. So let me know right now. If you're watching live right now, put in the comments. If you could see me, if I'm frozen, if my screen is frozen, let me know. But if it's not frozen, cool. So let me know. Say yes, it's frozen. No, it's not frozen. So let me know in the chat. Was my screen frozen? Anybody? Was my screen frozen? Yes, no, maybe so. I'm doing one more time. All right, look right now. Is my screen frozen? Let me know, because my computer is like tripping. Somebody put in the comments if my screen is frozen, please. Then I want to know, where are you guys watching from? I know we have people that are watching from all over the world. We have people, in Europe, in Asia, in Australia, Chicago. Where are you guys watching from? So you guys, did my screen get frozen? Come, somebody put in the comments. Well, my screen didn't get frozen, but I got kicked out. Did anybody notice if my screen get frozen? Can somebody tell me if my screen got frozen? Because I need to know if my screen got frozen before I go any further. Hello, is my screen frozen or not? Let me know. Okay, y'all don't want to let me know. I mean, where's my? Okay, I guess 5 o'clock is not the good time to be coming live, because all of my people who be engaging with me, y'all ain't saying nothing. What's going on? Anybody out there? Hello, is this thing on? I see there's about 60 something people here online right now. I'm on different platforms. I'm on about 8 different platforms. So Is anybody out there? Did you guys see? Okay. Well, anyway, I'm going to get down to it because I got to go cook dinner. It's 5:00. However, I wanted to talk about capitalism because I do believe that capitalism is killing America. And I don't know. Do you think socialism can save it? Can socialism save America as it is today? And again, I like to talk about these types of things because my concern is for African Americans. And capitalism has been a great tool for wealth in this country specifically. I mean, it's an opportunity for all of us to build wealth, but specifically helped enable white men become rich. First of all, they had a 400-year head start because of everything that they have accomplished through the enslavement and the genocide of other people. And so they have been able to take advantage of this free enterprise that we have here in America because they've had that advantage because they've killed and pillaged and raped and all the things that they do. And so they have trillions and trillions of dollars. But something had to shake it up. Something had to shake up this country as it stands right now. Something had to shake it up. They told you that America was the land of opportunity. They did. And it was for those people, not for everybody. So while you working 2 jobs, you skipping vacations, you telling yourself that if you just worked hard enough, you was going to get there. Somebody else was changing the rules. They were quietly changing the rules, you guys, legally with full backing of the people that you voted in office. And when you voted them in office, they didn't go in office working for you. They went in office working for the top 1% who now owns, I don't know if you know, the top 1% now owns more wealth than the entire 90% combined. The top 1% owns more than the bottom 90% combined. And this has never been in the history of this country. It's crazy. So you have that, right? Billionaires saw their wealth increase by over $1 trillion during the pandemic. And while you were trying to figure out how to pay rent, you're losing everything. And billionaires increased their net worth to trillions of dollars. And right now, today, those programs that were built to catch you when you fall, the ones your tax dollars pay for, are being gutted. They're being stripped. And they're being handed back to the people who need them the least, the people who have the most. And they're calling that progress. I need you to hear me today, y'all, because what's happening in this country, it's not a political debate. It's not a left versus right. It's really not. It's not black versus white. It's really not. It's not Democrat versus Republican. It's math. And you need to do the math. And when the people at the top get so greedy that people at the bottom can't afford to eat, they can't afford rent, they can't afford to buy, the whole machine stops. That's why I don't understand, while they're steadily trying to get richer and richer and richer, everybody else is getting more and more poor. Who's going to buy the shit that they selling? You don't have to be an economist to know that. You just have to look at your grocery bill. You got to look at your gas bill. Capitalism promised us a rising tide that would fit all boats. But now we see only the top 1% is getting all of the money. So I want to talk to you today about what's really happening, because capitalism it's ruined the country. It's not just capitalism, though. It's the greed that goes along with capitalism. It's not just capitalism. It's the greed of capitalism that has ruined this country. You think about this. Mondami, he ran as a democratic socialist, right? His first 100 days, let me go and show you what his first 100 days did. Mondami's first 100 days, he was able to, he got some tenant protections for the tenants, right? So that he got housing, because housing costs were out of control. He is taxing the rich because they weren't used to being taxed on second properties, not even on their first properties. He pushed for fare free buses and transportation equity. Okay, so that's allowing people to take public transportation for free. He has what else has he done? He's doing community-based grocery stores. to where the prices stay low. The grocery stores are owned by the city. The prices stay low and the savings gets passed on, as opposed to you getting a Walmart. Walmart gets the tax subsidies. Walmart doesn't have to pay taxes in the city. Walmart rakes in millions and billions of dollars. They don't pay their employees a living wage, and they're getting all the money and they're not paying any taxes. And then the working class people are paying the burden, the brunt of everything, right? He's suggesting we have a city who's doing all this stuff. The city, we pull our resources together. We have the city do it. The city create these grocery stores, and then we pass the savings on to the public. These are things that he's been able to accomplish, or things that he's going to accomplish within his first 100 days. And these both Democrats, both Republicans have said that they weren't able to make these accomplishments, not because they couldn't, but because they don't want to, because they have lobbyists in their pockets. Their loyalty is to the lobbyists. Their loyalty, just like a lot of these politicians, their loyalty is to the people who puts money in their pockets to get them elected. Israel, big companies, banks. So when you have, let's take a look at the definition of capitalism. All right. So capitalism, an economic system where private individuals or corporations own the means of production. Prices, production, and distribution are determined by free market. Competition's profit is the primary driver. Now we live in a capitalistic society, and capitalism is supposed to be a good thing, right? But there's pros and there's cons of capitalism. The great thing about capitalism is it rewards innovation and individual effort. That's a good thing. If for it, that's awesome. We can get paid based upon our contribution to society. That's awesome. Capitalism is supposed to create economic growth and job opportunities. But when you have systems where you have corporations that are so greedy that they're letting go their employees, they're employing AI so they can save millions of dollars. Meanwhile, who's going to hire these people? What are they going to do? They're trying to be efficient by having AI, but nobody's going to buy their products or services because nobody's going to be able to afford it. I love that capitalism encourages entrepreneurship and wealth creation. That's a great thing. And historically, not today, it produced the highest standard of living. But now, if it goes unchecked, and then you have greed that goes along with the capitalism, it concentrates wealth at the top. It creates a system of inequality, which is what it's doing right now, especially amongst the racial lines. You have 90% of Fortune 100 or Fortune 500 companies, they're CEO'd by white men. They let people in who look like them. Okay, so it's a lot harder. That's the reason why a lot of, when they talk about crabs in a barrel, we want to be the only one, because they know that they're not letting many of us in the door. Okay. The bad thing about capitalism is they prioritize profit over people and the planet. You notice all of the regulations around climate change and science and clean energy. No, they want to let these big companies get richer by drilling. They're not creating any jobs. I don't know if you guys know, but there was zero job creation in the last quarter. Zero net job creation. That's what The Economist said. Don't listen to what Trump says, listen to The Economist. Capitalism also can make, it could be vulnerable. It could create monopolies. Because look at what happened with TikTok and Larry Ellison. Look at what's happened with all of the conglomerates that have been buying up all of the media companies. Now we're going to be hearing one voice. If we don't have independent thinkers and independent people speaking out, we're going to hear one voice, because the government is now trying to control. That's actually more of communism. What we hear, what we see, and how we think. That's not free thinking. That's not the American way. When you have this greed of capitalism, basic human needs become commodities. That's not a good thing. So when you have capitalism, the polar opposite of capitalism is what? Communism. And what's the definition of communism? It's a political and economic ideology where all properties and means of production are publicly owned and each person works and is compensated according to their ability and needs. There's no private ownership, no class distinction, and theoretically, no government in its pure form. Now, remember when they said, I remember growing up, my mom used to say, don't say communist, because you say communist, you might get arrested. You remember the whole McCarthy scandal back in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s? When you said communism, now communism is the idea of we have community living. But when you say communism in the United States, it rings off bells because they think that you're trying to overthrow the government. And the rich people, what happens is the reason why the rich folks don't like communism is because it takes away their ability to get richer. If everyone is treated fairly and equally and everything is owned and we all get paid you look at China's a communist country, right? Their poorest people live better than our upper middle class. Their poorest people. It's not a bad idea. So what are the pros of communism? I don't know. It eliminates class-based inequality, right? It ensures, it ensures everybody's basic needs are met. It eliminates exploitation of labor. Okay. It gives you the collective focus, communal living. And then you don't have the corporations capture the government because there's no corporate class. You don't have the corporations buying the government. But there are cons to it. It's never really been fully achieved by any authoritarian rule. You cannot achieve that individual success in a communist state, right? And it requires a level of trust that we just don't have because we have what's called racism. And racism will not allow you to have when you have so much mistrust in the community, you will never have that trust because of racism. But then let's talk about socialism, because I think I'm not saying that's the answer, the end all be all. I just put that on here, but I don't believe that's the end all be all answer. But I think there should be a hybrid, because the idea of socialism is an economic and political system where the means of production, distribution, and exchange are owned or regulated by the community as a whole, typically through the state. Resources and wealth are distributed based on contribution or need. Here's the thing, y'all. This is how effed up the society is. We pay all of this money into taxes for certain services. We pay money for Social Security. We pay money. We're paying every time we get paid for Social Security. We're paying for Medicare. These are things that we've put. This is like putting money in a bank. And for the president of the United States to say that we don't have money for these things, we can't do this because we gotta have money for war that we didn't even ask for. So you mean to tell me you have these corporations who are making more and more and more and more money? They're getting tax breaks. They don't have to pay taxes. They can come in. Think about San Francisco. I'm from the Bay Area. San Francisco. The way San Francisco blew up is they invited all these companies, all the big Silicon Valley companies to San Francisco. You can bring your company here. You do not have to pay taxes. They come there. Now they're paying all these expensive wages to their employees. The housing prices have been astronomical. The working class people who live there can no longer afford to live there. And at the end of the day, the big corporations, they're not contributing to the property taxes. And so somebody said on one of my posts on YouTube, they said, well, they pay other taxes. They pay payroll taxes. They pay state. They don't pay federal taxes. As of 2025, with the big, beautiful bill, corporations do not have to pay. 5 corporations that I've named have paid $0 in federal taxes. Elon Musk, being the richest man in the world, has the richest company in the world, paid $0 in taxes. Meanwhile, the average American pays $16,000 a year in taxes. And then you have this man who's not even from this country, who can come in here, he ain't from this country, and go into all these social services programs and gut the programs that we are paying into. This is madness. They don't, and he has not paid no taxes. And they're talking about waste, fraud, and abuse. When all the waste, fraud, and abuse, what did he get when he left Doge? When he went into Doge and he paid he got way more back in government contracts and in subsidies than he paid to get Donald Trump elected. This is where we are. And so here's the thing. You have Democrats, you have both Democrats, and you have Republicans on the same shit. Nothing's ever changed. It's just really being exposed. This has never changed. And so we have to understand that we need a hybrid of both things in the society for us to be able to make it. But here's how we have to prepare, because they are not looking out for no poor people, especially Black people. But everybody across the board is a target right now. Everybody across the board is a target. So what does that mean? That means you have to be insulated in a time such as this. If they are not providing services to the people inside your community, what does that mean? That means we have to do it. We have to start creating jobs for ourselves, because they're not creating jobs and they're outsourcing all of the jobs. I don't know if you knew, I read a statistic the other day. Over 300,000 Black women lost their jobs in 2025. Over 300,000 white men gained jobs. Majority of the jobs in the federal government, the Black employees in the federal government got fired. White men were hired. There's been so many blatant things. Project 2025 is in effect. Now, do I believe that it's going to last forever? No. Do I believe that Trump's going to get out of here and every statue and everything that he's done is going to get reversed? Absolutely. However, this is a wake-up call, and this is a warning for us Black people for what we have to do in order to be aligned, in order to be not have a zero net worth by the year 2053, as I said. I think this is the perfect time. I think that we as a people, we're going to have to put our money together. We have $2 trillion in spending power. We're going to have to start creating businesses. We're going to have to start just jumping out there in faith, because understand that the government is only going to look out for the oligarchs. They're only looking out for the millionaires and the billionaires. Your tax dollars are funding a military budget that is larger than the next 10 countries combined. That is mad. The next 10 countries, they fund subsidies for oil companies that are already making record profits. They fund foreign aid packages that get approved overnight while your city school is crumbling. And the programs that were supposed to come back to you, the ones that you paid into your entire life working, are being labeled as wasteful, socialist, un-American. Something that you paid for is being labeled as socialist. What's actually un-American? You want to know what actually is un-American? Taking money from working people and giving it to people who already have more than they could ever spend. They will never spend this money in 3, 4, 10 lifetimes. And we need to call it what it really is. Mandami was able to do things in New York that could have been done years ago, even under a Democratic president, even under President Obama. But they're so worried about the status quo. They're so worried about decorum that nobody's looking out for the little guy, especially the Black guy. And the thing that frustrates me is that this could have happened decades and decades ago, but they just weren't willing to do it. And we now know that it could be done, because when a leader shows up and he decides that people come first, that's what you see. You see things like what's happening in New York right now. You see what's possible. It should feel normal. Everything that we're going through is like we're in the twilight zone. Everything is out of whack. But I want to make sure that we're on the same page, y'all, because these words, they get thrown around all the time, and most people have never actually been taught what they mean. Communism, socialism is a bad word because everybody wants to be capitalist. Capitalism is great when it's not filled with greed. Socialism is great if you can actually pull it together and trust each other. Communism is not a bad idea if everything was really equal, but then it takes away the idea that we're able to compete. You already live inside a socialist system right now. You do. It just hasn't been working for you. The public schools, that's socialist, right? Fire department, socialist. The police department, that's socialist. Your Medicare, your Social Security, public libraries, all of those are socialist businesses. Nobody's out here saying that the fire department is un-American. Nobody's arguing that we should privatize 911 and make you call every time and make you pay every time you call. So when you look at the idea of socialism being a bad idea, it was never really about whether socialism belongs in America. It's always been here. The debate, I think, is really about who controls it. And the folks who are at the top 1% want to be in control, and they want to have their lion's share, and they do. The top 1% of billionaires have 90% more than everybody else, make more than the 90% of everybody else. It's crazy. Denmark, Nordic, Norway, Sweden, they run capitalist markets. People own businesses, people build wealth, but they also have what? Universal health care. They have free education. They have generous parental leave. They have a robust social safety nets. They say that they are the happiest countries in the world. Remember when Trump said, we need to have people, we don't want people coming from shithole countries like Africa. We need to have people from Denmark and Norway come over here. They said, we don't go to that shit. Why would we want to go over there when we're happy over here? We got free health care. We're living, doing, happy. We ain't got to worry about no war and nothing, no craziness. Why would we come over there? The system may not save you. It's not going to. The government is definitely not going to save you. And waiting on either one to build or act is crazy. You got to know the rules of capitalism so that you can play. You got to know how to do your own business credit. You got to know how to build your business, but you also have to demand better from the people who are in office. You got to know what your tax dollars are for and what they're and what you're paying for. You need to know that, because the people at the top are counting on you not understanding how the system works. That's the reason why they're able to do it and get away with it. I don't understand how Donald Trump is doing all the things that he's doing, and I guess he's being challenged. It's just a slow process, but he's able to do all this stuff in record speed. I mean, he is crashing America in record speed, and they have to go all the protocol that they have to go through that he absolutely did not have to go through to break America down is insane. But I do want to leave you with this. I'm gonna get up out of here, but I do want to leave you with this. We are all we have, and we need each other to survive. And in order for us to get out of this trouble that we're in, it would be nice if we could reach across the aisle to everyone, to our Asian brethren, our white brethren, our Hispanic brethren. It would be really nice. Call you back later, my boy. It would be really nice. However, we need to look for us first. We need to be like the Jews. The Jews said, we don't work with anybody else unless we know that we can't find anybody in our community who's we could do business with. We have to be so intentional about that, but we also have to create the businesses. We also have to be willing to step out on a limb and take that risk and sacrifice to create businesses. That's important. And then once you start seeing Black-owned businesses, you got to be intentional about spending with Black businesses. So listen, tomorrow I am doing right now for the month of April, I'm doing the Black Building Wealth series inside the Gym Masterclass. And so tomorrow we're going to be doing build wealth through real estate. So we're going to talk about real estate from a different perspective. We're really going to talk about how to use that property as leverage. Don't let this just be your dream home. I'm going to give you some tools and some strategies on really how to use real estate to up level so that you can use that as your entry to a 7-figure net worth. Okay. Why am I an expert? Do you want to know why I'm an expert? Because I own several real estate properties. I've owned commercial properties. I've helped thousands upon thousands of people build their own real estate portfolios. And I just happened to start the largest Black-owned real estate firm in California called Catalyst Real Estate Professionals. I built this great company, and I've helped thousands of people. Now I've expanded my offerings, my personal offerings, over to DC, Maryland, Virginia, California. And I have a lending company that I also help to get people qualified. And so I'm licensed in all those places, DC, Maryland, Virginia, California, Georgia, and Texas. So if you know anyone who's looking, I have a team of people in those areas that could actually get you on a pathway. But if you're not in those areas, then my team could actually show you who actually will partner with someone to help you start with your wealth portfolio. So we're going to talk about real estate tomorrow. So go to gymmasterclass.com and register for this training. This, you do not want to miss this, because as we know, real estate is the number one wealth builder in this country. 44% of Black people own real estate. 70% of white folks own real estate. But that is the differentiator. That is the way that we can truly close this wealth gap. And so if you want to close a wealth gap, get in the gym tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern. We'll be in class. Class will be in session for an hour. And so for the people who log on, I'm going to have a special price for you. So go ahead and register for this training, and we'll get it cracking. So go to gymmasterclass.com. I'll be talking about real estate. And, I just think that, again, we have to work together. We need each other to survive. So we got to stop thinking about that rugged, individualistic, Eurocentric ideal of this capitalism. And I got mine. You got to get yours, and really be more communal thinking and social thinking, so that we can help each other. There's an African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. And that is the realest thing that I can ever tell you, is that if you want to go far, we need each other to survive. We got to do it together. All right. So I'm gonna see y'all tomorrow in the masterclass, 12 p.m. sharp, 9 a.m. Pacific sharp. Go there and register for it, and I'll see you tomorrow.